You stand in the doorway of a quiet temple courtyard. Rain turning every surface to a mirror. Lightning forks across the sky. And for a breath, everything goes white. Stone, robes, the slick black of armor. Sound narrows to two things, the rain and the mechanical click of metal. Scene, the courtyard. Thunder, a single fallen guard, her life snuffed as cleanly as the rain, running from her hair. You notice the chain first, a steel rope that moved like a living thing, wrapped around a throat and then slackened. Its owner, stepping through the gate without hurry. Black armor clings to her, rain beads along hooked links, wrapped around her forearm. She is May, once a sister here, now the echo of something harder. Opposite her, Leon. She comes down the temple steps like still water moving. Slow, certain. White robes darken in the storm. In her hand, a folded steel fan rests like a promise. You can see the way the disciples tighten their chests, how the courtyard holds its breath, because the rules of this place are old, and the consequences are older. You're close enough to hear the metal when Leon opens the fan. A clean snap that cuts through thunder. May moves first. The chain uncoils, aiming for a throat. Sparks fly when fan meets link, metal singing against metal. May jerks, tries to wrench the weapon free. Leishan steps forward. She doesn't step back. This is important. Closeness is a choice. When someone pushes you toward the dangerous space inside a weapon's arc, you don't retreat, you take the space and meet them there. The two of them trade blows like a conversation. The fan slashes open a line across May's ribs. Fabric parts and blood appears slow and bright against the black. May swings low. Leanne leaps and answers with the fan across a shoulder. Each strike tells you about who these women are, and what they learned here. Discipline, speed, a respect for how close the body sits to bone. May wraps the chain around a pillar and turns it into a blade that moves in circles, forcing Leanne to shift, defend, adapt. You can almost feel the centrifugal pull of the weapon. Hear the rain turn to a staccato under the spinning steel. May uses the temple itself as a partner in her attack, a tactical detail that says she thinks in angles and momentum. Leon responds not with brute force, but with timing. Closing distance, using the fan like a baton to knock the chain aside step by careful step. Then May shortens the chain, wraps it around both fists. It becomes a different kind of violence. Intimate, relentless. She pounds at ribs and temple, while Leanne defends with the reinforced spine of the fan. The fourth hit slips through. You feel the impact in your chest, as if you were struck. Blood mixes with rain on Leanne's lips. A small human thing, against a background of thunder and discipline. They level the playing field again. Leanne sweeps and throws May to the ground. The chain loops tight. A boot pressed into chest. Rain pooling around. May leans in close and whispers the word that has been driving her. Vengeance. Accusation. Memory. You should have died with the others. It lands heavy. What happens next shows you Leon's resourcefulness more than her strength. Her breath slows, not out of defeat, but to steady her. She slides a second fan from her robe, thinner, razor-edged. That's the kind of detail that matters in close quarters. Hidden options. Trained hands that keep a contingency ready. She slices the chain at her throat. Links split. Tension releases. The theater of the fight changes again, because Leanne chose a non-spectacular, surgical move over a desperate flourish. She cripples May's thigh, and you see doubt flicker across her face for the first time. Human beings, even when they rage, always have a second where they judge the cost. May roars and swings in a last arc designed to end everything in a single clean strike. Leanne doesn't retreat. She moves in. Inside the swing. Because killing force depends on distance. Close in, the chain can't speed up. Physics protects her. Her fan snaps into May's wrist. Bone breaks. The chain clatters to the stone. There's a moment, a few breaths, where everything slows. The fan's edge finds May's throat, and then the world fills with rain again. May drops, hands clawing at the wound. She reaches for a hidden dagger. Leon responds with the second fan and ends the reach. Blood runs pink into the courtyard drains. Thunder rolls across the mountain. Lian closes her fan slowly, metal meeting metal in a small, soundless click that somehow carries the weight of all that happened. No prayers are spoken. The disciples do not run forward to comfort or condemn. The temple doors open just enough for Lian to pass, then seal against the storm. Outside, rain keeps washing the stone, and the woman who came for vengeance. You're left with the image of two trained bodies, having said everything they needed to say, and then stepping back into an order that has no place for the mess of unfinished loyalties. Now, let's slow down and pull the layers apart for a minute. This isn't just a fight scene. It's an exercise in choices, consequences, and how training shapes responses. Choice and consequence. Mei chose a path that led her back to the temple as an instrument of vengeance. Lian chose loyalty to rules that had once guided them both. Each action pushed the other into a corner, where violence felt inevitable. When people choose different definitions of justice, battles like this happen, morally and physically. Proximity and force. The fight illustrates a crucial combat truth. Distance dictates danger. Weapons rely on space to generate force. When Lian steps inside the chain's arc, she neutralizes its advantage. That's true in many moments in life too. Sometimes, you have to get close to a problem to make it lose power. Tools and preparation. Lian's second hidden fan is not a deus ex machina. It's a prepared choice. Training isn't just muscle memory. It's about having contingencies. When you prepare, you give yourself options in moments most people call crisis. Emotion versus discipline. Mei's fury drives her. Lian's discipline contains her. Neither is wholly right or wrong, and both cost them. Emotions fuel action. Discipline shapes it. The trick is to learn when to let each guide you. Think about the imagery. Rain as mirror, metal as voice, the temple as judge. Those are not accidental. The storm strips everything down until only motion and intent remain. The metal fans, chain, ribs of a weapon becomes a language. When things like objects become metaphors, you can read a scene beyond skin deep. You might also notice the silence after the fight. No celebration, no sermons. That absence speaks louder than any victory cry. It's a reminder that some conflicts don't create winners. They create consequences that ripple through traditions, through the people who watched, and through younger practitioners who will now carry this scene into their practice. If you're taking anything away from this, let it be this. The hardest battles aren't always the loudest. They're the ones where you measure a choice against a set of values and then act. Whether you call it loyalty, vengeance, honor, or survival, the moment you choose, you set a chain in motion. And here's a practical human note. In every tense confrontation, look for options. The second fan. Prepare quietly. Keep some bloodless contingencies. And remember that getting close can sometimes be the way to neutralize a threat. Not because violence is desirable, but because understanding distance and options often allows the least damaging resolution when conflict is unavoidable. So you leave the courtyard changed. Rain will keep falling for a long time. The disciples will tell this story, and it will ripple through the temple the way the chain once did through the air.